Dale Earnhardt Jr. has shared his thoughts to Kyle Larson, suggesting he won't attempt the Indy 500, World 600, or Coke 600 double anytime soon. In fact, he doesn't want Kyle Larson to try it again. Roll this up over at stockkylereport.com. You can find the link in the description below. So, following his second attempt at the double, Larson spoke with Fox Sports and was asked if he planned to do it again. He answered, "I haven't thought about it too much. I think the double is just kind of hard to do logistically. Just realizing after the race, I wouldn't have been able to finish the whole thing. It's just the windows are too tight. There's a lot that goes into it. I don't think the double would happen again. But, hopefully someday I can run the Indy 500 again. I definitely want to do that." He made similar comments immediately following his attempt at the double. He told NBC Sports, "I don't know. It's so fresh right now. I don't really have a good answer for you. The double is just a tough undertaking. The window of time is too tight. Even if I didn't wreck, I don't think I would have made it here on time and probably would have had to end that race short anyways. So I don't really think it's worth it, but I would love to run the Indy 500 again. Just doing the double, I think, is just logistically too tough." To Larson's point about logistics, the Indianapolis 500 start was delayed to rain. It was originally scheduled to start at 12:46 p.m. Eastern Time, but was delayed 43 minutes to 1:29 p.m. Eastern Time. The race did not finish until 4:26 p.m. Larson exited the race earlier after he crashed on lap 91 before the halfway mark. He arrived at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600 at 5:16 p.m., just 9 minutes before driver introductions. So even if the race hadn't get delayed, I think it was going to be extraordinarily tough for him to get there. Obviously, NASCAR has made it even more difficult as well, given their new rule change where they will not give a waiver and you will lose all your playoff points. So it could be significantly harmful to his team and himself financially and his success at chasing a championship if he attempts to do the double and he's not able to arrive at the start. Dale Earnhardt Jr. initially reacted to these comments on X, saying, "What we don't see are the meet and greets, photo shoots, team meetings, travel, and more photo shoots, media requests. His plate is already full with those things in NASCAR. And to add the Indy 500, it's a Herculean undertaking in May, times 10, unreal." He elaborated on these thoughts during his Dirty Mo Media podcast. He said, "We all would be impressed if we got a physical shot of his calendar of May. If you could put his calendar on a sheet of paper or on a tablet in front of you and look at it, I bet you wouldn't believe the crap this kid had to do and the responsibilities traveling back and forth, meet and greets, photo shoots, more photo shoots, media requests." And he doesn't even mention that Larson was competing with High Limit for a couple of those races as well in his sprint car. So it's not just the Indy 500 and the Cup stuff too, right? He was competing in his sprint car with the High Limit series that he co-owns with Brad Sweet and Flow Racing. Regarding Larson's struggles at the Indianapolis 500, Jr. said, "I love somebody who's not afraid to fail. I'm an underdog lover because underdogs aren't afraid to fail. And the expectation almost is that they will fail, right? And when they succeed, we're enamored with that. And so rarely do we get to see someone that we know is great put themselves in that situation." He went on to share that he does not want to see Larson attempt it again. However, he also noted that Larson is not going to be satisfied until he can get to the finish line with great results in both races. And I'm sure he feels like that he didn't even get close to accomplishing. He fell far short. And so there's probably something in there. His competitiveness is probably saying, "I'm not satisfied. I'm going to do it again." But the pure logistics of it has gotten tough to physically do it. Junior then highlighted that just getting from the Indy 500 to the Coke 600 is just one part of the logistics nightmare, saying that's just one part of the logistical nightmare. The whole month is an effing pain in the ass between both Indy and NASCAR. He still is racing in Cup races during that first part of the month, right? He's still got his real job to do, and he has to answer to the questions, which is more important, what matters more, what happens if this, what happens if that, and it's like, man, it's just not worth it. Junior went on to claim that Larson would have won the Coke 600 if he was not participating in the double, saying that Larson was smoked, obviously referring to him mentally. He says his average finish in the 4 mile and a half leading into Charlotte was 3.75. The next best driver was at 10, and that's Logano at 10. He's so far clear of the field at the mile and a half. This is the home track, 2 miles away for Hendrick. He was absolutely flying in that car, and if he's not an Indy, he busted his ass at the top of 3 and 4 over the bumps. If he's not an Indy, I think he's more plugged in, tuned in, more sharp, and self-aware of all of the things he needs to be careful of and avoid to be able to win a 600-mile race at Charlotte. He then elaborated that he believes the entire month of May wore Larson down, saying, "I don't think the wreck at Indy was what bothered him. I just think that the month of work and travel, he came into Charlotte with that mental hangover." Now, I disagree with Junior here. I think that Larson was probably in top mental shape. Obviously, you can point to the results. He wrecked at Indy a couple of times. Obviously, he did so in the race, and then he wrecked at the Coke 600 as well. But there were other cars that were running really well, and they wrecked too. Ryan Blaney, his race weekend, he didn't compete in the Indy 500. He was looking really strong. Car was coming to him, as has been the case much of the year. I think he had just gotten into like the top 5, etc. And then, bam, he's involved in a wreck with Daniel Suarez, and his night's done. So those things happen, right? So to claim that Larson was going to win the Coca-Cola 600 if he wasn't competing in the Indy 500, I think is a stretch. And I don't think he was really smoked mentally. I think he still was in the game. And I think the fact that he was dominant at Charlotte at the Coke 600 for much of the race, I think is evidence to the contrary of what Junior is claiming here. I think he just made a mistake, went over those bumps in 3 and 4, and he paid the price for it. And he was pushing it, right? And those things happen. And we've seen that happen before too, right? Where he's done that previously, where he does try to push the car to its limit, to the edge, and he ends up pushing it a little bit too much. He goes over that edge and wrecks, makes a mistake, right? But I think that's what also makes him so great, is because he's willing to go to that edge and sometimes go over it. Now, as far as me wanting to see Larson do the double, I want to see him do the double. I want to see him complete the double. I think, as Junior says, he hasn't finished it yet. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think he had a 2-year deal with Arrow McLaren and Hendrick to do the double. It's been 2 years now. He didn't do it. Rain obviously affected it both times. I actually thought he had a chance to win the race the first year. I mean, his car was really fast. I think he was up to like 7th when he had that pit road penalty for speeding, which was just a shame because, I mean, he was looking really good in that car the first year. Obviously struggled a lot more in the second year. I think they changed some things with the car and stuff like that. And a lot of drivers were struggling with the car as well. We saw a lot of wrecks in qualifying and practice, etc. So it wasn't just Larson. They made it difficult. A lot of people who race in Indy cars full time were struggling. Larson obviously racing just during the month of May. So I want to still see him try to do it. I want to see him complete it. I want to see him do the all 1,100 miles, 500 at Indy, 600 at the Coca-Cola 600. So I'd love to see him do that. But at the same time, I'd love to see him kind of lighten his load with his schedule. I want to see him get back in a dirt late model. Haven't really seen him get in the dirt late model at all this year. Love to see him hop back in the dirt late model and run with the big boys there. Ricky Thornton Jr., Jonathan Davenport, Devin Moran, Bobby Pierce, Mike Marlar, etc. Love to see him, Garrett Albertson, etc., get back and compete with those guys. I know we got to see him do that a little bit last year when he was doing a different double, right? He was trying to do the Chili Bowl and then obviously the Wild West Shootout. Similar things happened there. Was wrecking in the Chili Bowl and was struggling also with the Wild West Shootout. So maybe there's some evidence there about his mental state that Junior comments, where some of that stuff does kind of weigh on him, and he isn't able to maybe put it aside as much as what he says he can. I mean, it's really hard to kind of compartmentalize that. I would think it would be very difficult, no matter how trained you might be on that. But I'd love to see him get back in a dirt late model too, lighten that load, because I know he's mainly been focusing on the sprint car stuff, given the fact that he's a co-owner of High Limit. But if he's able to kind of lessen his schedule a little bit and add more dirt late model stuff, love to see that. But that's what Dale Jr. had to say. I definitely agree with him on the logistics stuff. I mean, again, it's not just all the media stuff. It's not just the race. It's not just that. I mean, he was adding high limit racing to there too. So he had a ton of stuff on his schedule, and that is going to burn you out, especially trying to do it 2 years in a row. Third year might just be too much. Obviously, he'll get a break, and maybe he gets that break. He gets it, maybe clears his mind a little bit from all this stuff, and maybe 2 years or whatever, and he's like, let's do it again. Let's do it again and see if he can do that. But I really do want to see him try to do it again. But maybe not just next year. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below.